Of course, the week that we get the most interesting episode of the season is the one week where I have a lot of stuff going on, and I felt like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be in a rush to view this episode. Yeah, that's what I get. That's real great, Rob. Anyway, yeah, it was a good episode, especially since they fixed the running out of days thing that I mentioned at some point in my last video about this show. So, them splitting into two groups and each of them having their own tribal. I've already stated how I feel about this multiple times, so I'm not going to repeat myself. That was a nice challenge, although Jeff is wrong in about how quickly contestants fell off during this challenge. This is the quickest we've seen people fall off during the first round, but you can blame the rough seas for that. You actually had more people fall off in a more decent amount of time in Kagayan, which was the first time that they did this challenge. Because if you rewatch that video, believe me, you'll know that wasn't them just bridging the gap between people falling. That was them being honest. But I highly doubt that they would try to make it up that they fell off that quickly, because I mean, like, if they're gonna make something up, they'll just make something up that a challenge that has multiple rounds but no one falls in the first round. They'll just say, oh no, we actually started it in the second position. They did this on Ghost Island, and I'm pretty sure they did this in Winners at War too. I mean, like, come on. What's wrong with just giving them a few extra seconds there and then just having the music montage showing everyone moving and then struggling? What's wrong with that? But that was an interesting challenge, because, I mean, like, the amount of times Lindsay and Jonathan were this close to falling, that was crazy. Although, if I lasted more than a few seconds on this challenge, I'd probably be in a similar situation. Because do I have decent balance? Not exactly, but I wouldn't call it completely horrible. Right. So Jonathan pulling it off, that was a tiny bit expected, but it's a good thing that it was that order. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been nearly as exciting what went down in my eyes. Right. So then we get the losing tribe, which is all the guys talking to each other, and Romeo appears to be the real target, who now I'm kind of regretting placing as one of my top picks, because I'm guessing that I just misread his situation when all those big alliances were floating around, and thought that he was in a better position than he was. But as this episode revealed, Drea wasn't exactly in the best position either. But then again, Jonathan, it is obvious who has the idols, like with last season. Because, like, it's really not that much of a secret when everyone is just doing all of that. I do hope that they put a different spin on that, on how that's supposed to work from now on. Right. But then Hai does something that I was kind of expecting to happen, and then throws out Roxroy's name as a potential backup. And he's pointing out, we know what Romeo is like. Roxroy, we don't exactly know. And I was expecting something like this to happen to Roxroy at some point. Not this early, but sometimes that's the nature of the game. I mean, like, this is pretty much what happened in Island of the Idols, where initially, it was the second version of the Purple Tribe, taking out people from the second version of the Orange Tribe, but then, because of the splitting up of people, everyone saw a perfect opportunity to get rid of Anthony and Missy, especially since Anthony hadn't won immunity for the first time. And then the resulting dynamics made it so it was original Purple Tribe against original Orange. Not that I was complaining, because the Purple Tribe was the tribe that I supported that season. Although, ironically, when it was... Actually, no, you already know what I'm about to say. Right, so, back to this season. That did make sense. Not necessarily this soon, but it goes to show what I was thinking about the roles for people. Roxroy would get one heck of a blind side, and that High would gradually start getting a target on it, because he's not going to be able to keep sweeping this under the bush for that much longer, believe me. Something's going to happen to this guy. Although Mike, yeah, that's going to be the real question mark. So yeah, Roxroy gets blindsided, even though I wasn't expecting him to, because I didn't feel like there was enough camera time on it. Crazy Ice Machine. Anyway, then everyone from the other group comes in, and they're just like... And that was just amazing, because like, I don't think I've ever seen any group of people that shocked to see that somebody was voted out, like, ever. Yes, we've had some people surprised, like, they tried to make it seem like people were shocked when Boston Rob was voted out of Winners at War, but come on, you really should have seen that coming. So that was definitely a first for this show, and I really enjoyed seeing those reactions. And then we get to the elephant in the room, where Marianne and Drea keep mentioning, I guess racist theme is the best way of phrasing it. Because this isn't people trying to be racist. It just so happens to be that 2 black people were voted out back to back. It's just pure coincidence. Because, I mean, like, Island of the Idols, you had 4 people of minorities voted out back to back. Kelly, Jamal, Aaron, Missy, and was it Karishma that was next? No. Karishma played her idol, then Elizabeth was voted out, and then I think Karishma was voted out. Right, so you had 6 people voted out, and 5 of them were minorities. Although, granted, Island of Idols had a lot of minority people, let me tell you. But this isn't a racist theme. Just like how it isn't a sexist theme that women typically seem to be voted out of this game first, and that a lot of men have been winning this show, because I can point out to you 2 other reality shows that have a domination of winners based on gender. They're both cooking shows, I'll tell you that much. But, you know, it's just coincidence, even though it is annoying, because I would like to see more females win this show, even though a lot of my picks have been men, but that's the vibe I get from the season. Because you shouldn't just look at odds, you need to look at a vibe, because if you're not a baseball fan, this won't mean anything to you, but the San Francisco Giants, my team, they made the playoffs every even year from 2010 to 2016. And pretty much every single time, the Giants were said to be less favorable to win. But most of the time, it was just, okay, the odds aren't in the Giants' favor, let's just see how they are on the field. 2016, however, when they made the playoffs, they were being pitted against the Chicago Cubs, who were having a really, really good season. And I'm like, this is different. This is going to be a lot harder than it was before. And my dad was just like, nah, the odds have always been against us, and we've always come through. And I'm like, dude, you're not looking at the vibe here. This is totally different. I don't think we're going to be able to beat the Cubs. And even if we beat the Cubs, we got to beat the Dodgers. This is not going to be easy. And Dad's like, no, we're beating the Cubs, and the Nationals are beating the Dodgers. The Cubs beat the Giants, and the Dodgers beat the Nationals. I barely saw any odds tables. I was just looking at the vibe. Huh? Vibe means a lot more than what's actually listed on the cards, okay? Believe me, yeah. So yeah, that's what I think is going through Marianne and Drea's minds. It's not so much that it's a full-on targeted racist bit, because this cast, they actually get along with each other pretty well based on little bits and pieces I picked up in exit interviews and just other things there, because Hai has mentioned that he doesn't like Romeo, but it's that he doesn't like Romeo's gameplay, because you see the little moments where Romeo comes on for the tribe and he gets nothing but support from them. So yeah, there's arguments, but this cast, they really do seem to like each other, which is why I'm enjoying this season a lot more than last season. A little more positive vibe, and a lot more evenness in terms of gameplay. We've gotten quite a lot of dynamic shifts in this season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. But, yeah. So there is a small part of me that, this is the point I'm trying to get to, there is a small part of me that thinks that Marianne and Andrea were overreacting there, but here's the thing. As I've said before, I'm a white male who is straight, lives with well-income parents, and has always lived in a state that agrees with his political ideology. Keep in mind I said state, not community. Yeah. Okay? Although it's not like a lot of people walk around with the political ideology written on their forehead, but anyways. I've never had to worry about these kinds of things. So I can't speak to how they're feeling and all that jazz. Okay? Like, the places that I've been employed at, coincidentally, the vast majority of the staff has always been white. That's just how it is. So I don't know what it's like to be in a truly minority situation, or I'm not coming up with the right terms, but I'm sure you know how I should be finishing that sentence, right? So I can't really blame them. I'm the cream of the crop. So, yeah. But that did end up saving Drea, and I'm glad because I didn't really want her to go. Yes, that meant the next target would be on Tori, but there was a tiny bit of a possibility that she could have thrown heat on Marianne. Tori, I mean, although she probably wouldn't have done it. She would have gone with Drea, and then, honestly, I think she would have tried to go for Lindsay before Marianne. That's just my guess, but yeah, definitely better for Drea to be around rather than Tori, because Drea, she's got smarts. She might not be in the best position, but she has the smarts. Tori, she and Roxroy in their interviews indicated that she has potential, but things happen. So what she had going for was the crazy fight to stay alive, like with one contestant on the first version of Celebrity Big Brother. That's all I'm going to say, but after the first round, it should be very clear who he is. I'll tell you that much, okay? Let's see. So yeah, it's not entirely racist, but I do have some sympathy, although it's mostly from stories that I've heard about other people and not being able to relate to them because there's just no way it will happen to me. So they end up playing their idols. Toy does the shot in the dark because it's the only thing that she can do, but it is perfectly fair because she has verbally been voted out. Although, when Drea would have played her idol at the regular vote anyway, Tori would have gone anyway, because Drea made it clear she was voting for Tori, and pretty much everybody else was trying to vote for Drea, so no matter what, Tori was going to go in this situation, which is one reason why I'm not saying unfair or anything like that, because Marianne, that was an extra variable that actually really didn't do anything. It just made it so that Tori and Lindsay didn't have a direct vote, and that is it. In virtually every single situation, Tori goes home. So it's not, does she go home? It's really how she goes home. Although, granted, had Hai beaten Jonathan, Drea, I think, would have been the person voted out, and then would Roxroy have been voted out? Yeah, I really think that was set in stone before they went to tribal. Although it is odd that we didn't get the hugest amount of Mike discussing it, but I guess that's going to be part of the fallout, albeit it's going to be more on High than Mike, which I think plays into his reasoning, actually. That'll be really interesting. Ooh. Because, yeah, it's High that is going to have to really dig himself out of that hole. Oh, Mike is going to be in a hole, don't get me wrong, but not nearly as much. And that doesn't even... I'm not even really thinking about his idol at this point, because I keep forgetting he's the person with the green idol, which is now the only idol left in the game, although... Do we still have people with the amulet? High's got an amulet, Lindsay's got an amulet, Dre has the other one? Right, so we'll see how that goes. Right. Okay, yeah, so Tori gets voted out, although she does do the shot in the dark, and I totally knew that she wouldn't be unsaved, but hey, you were a prominent target every time that you went or could have gone to tribal, and it took them 5 times to get rid of you. Not bad. That was a really interesting story that definitely helped out this season. So yeah, good job to you, Tori, especially since she and Roxley have admitted, outside of this game, we have no problem with each other, just things happen. So there you are. So I know that this video was a little chaotic, but I didn't want to just discuss the elephant in the room, and even then, as I said, for me, it's pretty hard to discuss that given my, I don't really know if you can say unfortunate position on this issue. Coincidental, there we go. Yeah, because you can't control what color your skin is. Shut up, people! Because trust me, there are a few people out there who say you can't control that. Shut up. Right, so I'm just going to end this before I babble off even more. Later, people.